Hi, everyone. Good evening. Carl Steinbeck here. I want to cover some more of the Kouri Richins case. Covered the openings statements this morning, or excuse me, this afternoon. And so just wanted tonight jump into some more of day one. I thought day one was really a critical day for the prosecution, and some things didn't go good for the defense. So what I'm going to do is highlight some of the key takeaways from the day. And let's go ahead and start out with, this is Eugene Richins, Eric's dad. So they called him first to the stand, and he humanized his son. And you could see how much he loved his son, how much a close family it was. So I'm always saying that, they should call the Markells, should have called the Markells and Dan Markells murder trials against the Adelsons. So for some reason, they never called anybody that knew Professor Markel. But I think it's important. Normally you see this. Some of the first witnesses out of the gate are humanize the person that was murdered. So let's see here. We got right here. And they show some.
How old was Eric when he died?
He was 39.
Do you know?
And then next we had the sister, Katie. There she is here. She's also the trustee that was set up because they did not trust Kouri being able to have the ability to divorce.
Growing up
from her husband because he could not trust her. He's always having to check her phone. That's what we heard so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump ahead and go to the cross-examination part of it here. Here we go.
So I want to talk to you about, I want to go back a couple of years before Eric passed. You mentioned in your direct testimony that you are the trustee of a trust that Eric created. Is that right?
correct?
And may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Of course.
I'm handing you a document that's been marked as IMP KRB1.
Okay.
Take just a second and look at that document and tell me if you recognize it. I certainly don't expect you to read the whole thing, but just tell me if you know what that is.
Sorry, I just want to make sure.
Sure, no worries. Take your time.
This is sort of cumbersome. Defense lawyers should have this move along quicker. Witness is looking at every single page, like either she knows what's there or she doesn't. But just say what it is. Are you familiar with the document? She's losing momentum for the defense here, so you want to keep the flow moving along, counselor. Like, is she making sure every single page is there? I don't.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
So do you recognize that document?
Yes.
What is that document?
It's the Eric Richins Living Trust.
And is that the trust that you were referring to in your direct examination?
When
Mr. Bloodworth was questioning you?
With the house. Yes. This is the trust.
And that's the document that makes you the trustee if Eric should pass away.
Correct.
All right. Your Honor, at this point, I'd like to introduce this as Defense Exhibit 3001. On the impeachment, we're going to start it with the number 3.
Mr. Bloodworth.
Your Honor, no objections to the admission of the document. The state, of course, is going to admit it, had planned to admit it through the witness that prepared it. The state's just pausing on the nomenclature. We've referenced this document in other briefings by other exhibit numbers, which...
We can resolve that going forward. We can come up with a common vernacular at some point.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, but as to admission, no objection.
So just so the record is clear, if anybody ever has to read this, the Eric Richins Living Trust dated November 3rd, 2020 is admitted
All right. And that's going to be Exhibit 3001, Your
for
Honor.
the time being.
Yes.
We'll see if we come
Change
up with
it.
a different vernacular going forward.
That's fine. Okay. Can you turn for me to section 1.03 of the trust?
And Ms. Nestor, will
Yes.
you let me know when you're ready to publish whatever you want to publish?
All right.
Does that list the objectives of the trust? Just to refresh your memory, let me know when you're finished reviewing it.
Oh, there it is.
This is too painfully slow. If she's a trustee, she knows generally what it's for. So this get to the point and move on.
Okay, sorry. What
That
was your
refresh
question
your
again?
memory a little
Yeah.
bit. So is it fair to say that Eric's objective, as put in writing in the very beginning of this big old trust document, was to provide for both my wife and our children during any time I am incapacitated and after my death?
That's what's in there. Yes.
So
Ron,
it's
I'm sorry. Can we publish this to the jury?
Sure.
We're seeing it on our screens, but the jury's
Yeah,
not.
she didn't ask
can
me
you
to. That's fine.
publish?
Would you like to?
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you. That would be helpful. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right.
You're helping out the defense there. That's okay. Don't
And you
have to be
agree
confused.
that it was your understanding that this trust would provide for both Kouri and the boys. Is that
Yeah.
right?
It would provide for the beneficiaries, and those four are the beneficiaries.
And Kouri was a beneficiary of this trust.
She was a beneficiary of the trust.
And that's what Eric wanted.
I think the document
Your
speaks
Honor,
for itself.
objection.
Yeah.
I'll withdraw, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay. So basically there was as trustee, what is your understanding of your role as trustee? What is your role?
It's to administer the trust.
And what does that mean to you?
So to carry out my brother's wishes.
And with respect to the reality of that, there's a trust that holds assets. Is that your understanding? It holds his assets, whatever they are.
Correct?
And that includes cash and money and items, right?
Yes.
And you're supposed to see over that money and those assets
Correct, as the trustee.
and protect them, right?
Correct.
And distribute them to the beneficiaries as needed throughout their lifetime.
Based on what the trust says.
And that's your understanding of kind of your job, right?
Correct.
And as trustee, you get paid.
No,
You're not taking a fee.
so my brother did put in the trust that I could be paid and I could reimburse myself for the time spent. I have never once been paid for the time that I spent. So I chose not to.
That's very generous of you. And that's because you want those boys to get everything they can, I'm sure.
I want all the beneficiaries to get everything they're entitled to.
Okay, thank you. So let's say 2 months after Eric died, Kouri wanted to buy a car. She could do that, but she would have to ask you first, right? As the trustee.
Can you reframe that? So with money from the trust,
Yes.
she wants to buy the car?
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of litigation. So she did a lawsuit 3 weeks after my brother passed to try to set aside the trust.
Okay.
So there's a lot of litigation. So I would work with my attorneys to figure out what was proper.
Let me ask it this way.
That's really damaging for the defense. I can't believe she'd want to go down this road because if it's involving litigation and it is brought out that Kouri's in a lawsuit to get access to this within 3 weeks of Eric's death, it just has a really bad look for Katie here. I mean, for Kouri. So obviously they suspected Kouri being involved. And so they didn't want to have Kouri getting full access to all this money. She probably needed the money to close on that, help finance the repairs on that massive home. So anyway, I thought this was like, yikes, this is bad. I felt bad for the defense when I saw this. I want anybody that's having a trial to have a good, robust defense, aggressive defense. But this was like a cringe moment for the defense because it's like looking really bad.
What is your understanding of what, if there was no litigation, what you, as the trustee of the trust, were meant to do if one of the beneficiaries needed some money, if one of the boys wanted to go to private school, if Kouri wanted to buy a car? What was the process from your understanding?
So the trust was actually just split into two separate trusts. One for his 3 boys, who are the primary beneficiaries, and then another trust for Kouri. And you'll have to forgive me, I don't have the whole thing memorized.
Oh, of course not.
But it said in there what the money could be used for.
All right. So if Kouri wanted to spend some money out of the trust that was authorized in your opinion under the trust, it would be your job to say, yes, here is the money, and give her a check, right?
Correct.
And one of the things the trust authorized was care and maintenance of their home. Is that right?
So that the home is a trust asset.
Okay. So if the house needed repair, the trust could pay for that.
Correct.
If the trust could pay for the mortgage payments,
Correct.
the trust could pay for insurance on the house.
Correct.
So in the year after Eric died, how much money did Kouri ask you for to pay for anything related to the house, to her, to anything?
Pause for 1 second.
Your Honor, objection in reference to the discussion we just had.
Exceeds the scope.
Yes.
Sustain.
Okay.
Okay, this is, I think, a move by the prosecutor, because if you block the cross-examination of witness calls, the prosecutor and they're trying to attack as being mean to Kouri and whatever, if it's blocked on cross, just recall her on their own direct case in chief. So there's no point in really objecting here as being outside the scope of direct. And so I just thought this was a bad move by the prosecutor. I'm surprised the judge sustained it, because on cross-examination, there's great latitude given to try to impeach a witness. So she's trying to impeach a witness and also trying to bolster maybe Kouri not being so much in the wrong for trying to ask for money to maintain her lifestyle and receive trust money that was specifically designed for something like this.
Did the trust pay any mortgage payments on the home after Eric died?
Ms. Nestor, it's the same objection.
Okay.
Sustain.
That's now,
Has the
go
trust
ahead.
reimbursed family members for costs paid to a private investigator?
Pause for 1 second. Go ahead.
Same objection scope, Your Honor.
We're well outside the scope of direct, Ms. Nestor. Sustained.
Let them have their trial. She's facing murder. When I see that happening, I think the prosecutor and the judge probably haven't been a defense counsel.
Can I approach?
before.
Sure.
And what I would do, approach and say, look, do I have to recall her as a witness, and so I can answer all these questions? It's just going to belabor this court case so much more. So let me have great latitude. The Sixth Amendment gives me the right latitude. I'm trying to impeach this witness. So and this winds up bogging up the trial system. I mean, I just don't like seeing this from prosecutors. You're wasting all this time, and you want to have a fast-moving, paced trial to keep the jurors' attention.
Just 1 minute. I'm trying to comply with the ruling. Just give me 1 second, because I think there's another topic that I'm going to have to save for a direct.
Yeah, and now the defense attorney's rattled and where she's
Yeah, I think
gotten
so.
her
All right.
the questioning.
All right, I want to talk to you about the day of Eric's death. You mentioned, I believe you mentioned that when you got there, Kouri looked put together.
Correct.
She was in pajamas. Is that right?
Like a matching sweatsuit,
She was in a matching sweatsuit.
like sweatsuit pajamas. I don't know the technical
Okay.
what they were sold as.
And you
sorry.
said her hair was fixed.
It was pulled up.
It was pulled up in a messy bun. Is that what you recall?
But yet it was pulled up, neatly done.
Her hair was neatly done. That's what you recall.
Yeah,
Doesn't really
look,
matter, does it?
similar to today, just on top of her head.
And you also said that you went to the ground and she just stood there and did not comfort you in any way.
Not that I recall.
Okay. Katie, can you please, just for the witness only, Your Honor, we'd like to play a clip. This is State's Exhibit 1-4.
Pause 1 second. Does this have sound? It won't now.
does-
This.
Oh, I mean the witness.
All right, so we're going to see a video here. You have some technical problems.
It's fine with me. Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
This is no one's fault. This was a
Judge has a lot of patience here. I like this judge otherwise. I think he's a straight shooter. I think he's trying to run a good court, allowing defense some latitude. He's just a little bit too strict here on cross-examination, but I think he's overall a good judge, real good. At least what I'm seeing so far.
In case before we pause.
All right.
Just want to see that. Anything? Yes, until 12.
All right, so they wound up taking a recess. Apparently, they couldn't work through the technical glitches. So let me jump ahead to 4:45 so they don't take such a big break there.
Ms. Katie Richins Benson as a victim representative under Utah Code 7738-9 is granted. On that basis, the court does not have the authority to exclude her under the exclusionary rule. Mr. Bloodworth, anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Nestor.
All right, jury came back in.
get out sweatsuit, a matching sweatsuit, and fixed hair, and that she
I mean, whether it's a pajamas or sweatsuit or whatever she said, I don't know. They're all the same to me, basically.
did not
So-
comfort you when you fell to the ground. Is that correct?
To my recollection.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to watch a clip from that morning that was taken off of an officer's body cam and see if you can confirm that that's in fact you and Kouri that morning. Katie, can you play it?
Here we go.
Is that you in the clip?
Yes, that's me.
Okay, Your Honor, at this point, I'd move to admit as exhibit maybe 3001 for now. The
Two,
clip.
3,000.
Trying to jump ahead here.
There's just a black box over where
Play the clip.
down to hug you. Is that right? Katie, could you play that
Sorry.
again?
I'm sorry, this is hard with two Katies.
There are two Katies. I'm sorry. I'll call you Ms. Richins Benson. How about
Okay,
that?
thank you.
Okay. Okay, so that's Kouri. Freeze it right there, Katie Nestor. Okay, and that hair right there, that's what you're saying she had fixed? Just her hair up and messy like that?
Yeah, as you can see, mine was down and messy and didn't have contacts in anything.
Sure. So both of you had messy hair, and she's also clearly wearing pajamas. Does that refresh your memory that she's not in a sweatsuit, she was in pajamas?
I am not a fashionista, so to me, that's a sweatsuit or pajamas, just to be honest.
Okay, and then keep playing, Ms. Nestor. And that's her squatting down to comfort you while you're on the ground, and that's y'all hugging, right?
Correct.
So your memory about that was clearly wrong.
To be fair, it was 4 years ago.
Okay. And everything you're testifying about here about that morning was 4 years ago. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. You can take that down, Katie. Thank you.
All right, so you made the point that she was stood corrected on whether Kouri was able to give her a hug and all that. So okay, so she gave her a hug, and but there's going to be a lot more evidence to determine whether that hug was sincere or not. So
There, Katie.
where this goes.
And shortly after this scene where Kouri hugs you, and obviously everyone's completely understandably upset, was there a time where you went out into the driveway and spoke with an investigating officer that morning?
I went and spoke to an investigator in their car out front of the house.
Okay, maybe not in the driveway. Might have been in front of the house.
Correct.
Your Honor, objections.
Let
Your
it
Honor, she's
slide.
testified about her memory of that morning. This happened that morning.
I'll give you a limited latitude here.
Thank you. And who was the officer that you spoke to? All
She's
Detective
remembered.
Woody, I believe.
right. And that was just to help, because there's so many officers that are going to testify in front of this jury. It's a female officer, right?
Correct.
Okay. And when you talked to Officer Woody, or I think she was a detective then, did you tell her that you believed Kouri was involved in your brother's death?
No.
Did you tell the officer that you were suspicious that Kouri may have been involved in your brother's death?
Pause there.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm going to allow her to answer that question, then we'll have a conversation.
Sure.
Go ahead. You can answer that. I'm sorry.
I let her know that Kouri had stolen money from my brother, and I thought she needed to know that.
And what else did you think she needed to know at that moment?
I left at that moment to go
You-
back in the house.
You didn't tell her
My
anything
recollection.
else.
My recollection is that I told her that Kouri had taken money from my brother, quite a lot of money, and that there was tension.
And what did you tell the officer was the reason for the tension?
May I have a quick conversation with you?
Yes, sure.
My apologies, counsel.
This is like you're really making your client look bad here, Kathy Nestor. So this is not what I'd recommend do if I'm defending somebody or somebody else is defending them. I would say you don't want to try to open the door to stuff like this, but that seems to be the kind of thing they like to do, this defense team. Prosecutor,
Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
let it.
And now I forgot where I was, so let me think about it again. We were talking about what you asked the what you said to the police officer when you were outside. Before, and this is before that police officer has ever entered the house, right? This is your first time to see this officer.
This is part of the defense theory that, you know, the cops are just doing what the family wanted them to do. They didn't really have the evidence there, and the family's just whipping up so much pressure on the prosecution that's why they're deciding to charge Kouri. So anyway, it's sort of a desperate measure here, but let's see what happens. They keep going on.
Officer.
I'm not sure.
Okay. And you felt it was important that this officer know that your sister-in-law had a motive? What was your reason for telling the officer that information?
I had an overwhelming feeling come over me that I should let someone know.
Why? What was your overwhelming feeling?
That I should let someone know.
Because you believed it was suspicious?
Mhm.
The death?
Honestly, at that time, I had no idea what was going on. I just had an overwhelming feeling. I had just barely talked to my brother. He was fantastic. When I had talked to him just a couple hours before, I had an overwhelming feeling I should tell someone about this. So I did.
Because you thought Kouri was behind it.
I did not say that.
Did you tell the officer that Kouri had a reason to be upset with Eric because she had found out about your being a trustee over the assets before he passed?
No, not to my recollection.
You didn't mention being the trustee of a trust to this officer?
I knew that I was the trustee of the trust.
Did you share that with the officer?
Maybe I, there's a potential.
So you can't remember.
Just give me a second. It's
Sure. Take your time.
I mean, I did know that I was the trustee. So I definitely could have shared that with her.
And did you share with the officer that Kouri had been upset with your brother about that before he passed?
No,
So if an
not to
officer,
my recollection.
if an officer says you said that, that would be wrong. Or you're just not sure.
The questions are a little difficult. They're really vague. So not to my knowledge.
Okay. You mentioned that Kouri's son asked if he could have his dad's watch. Is that right?
Correct.
And you mentioned that Kouri just reset the watch and gave it to him.
Correct.
So Kouri didn't go through the watch trying to pick certain things out to delete, right?
I just watched her swipe it and give it to him, or delete it and give it to him.
If she hadn't swiped it, and I'm not an Apple Watch person, so maybe you know this better than I do, but that would have meant her son could read everything her husband had ever put on his iPhone, right?
I'm not an Apple Watch person either, so I can't answer that for you.
Is it your understanding the watches match the phone, basically?
Mine doesn't always. So, but again, I'm not an Apple person, so I can't tell you.
Do you agree there could be a lot of reasons why a mother would not want a young child to have access to everything his adult father had saved on his phone?
In a hypothetical, yes, I guess.
Okay. You also mentioned that Kouri told you that morning that she was going to sell the house.
Correct. She
And
did.
this is the house her husband had just died in.
Correct.
And she was
Right.
pretty traumatized about her husband just dying in the house. In,
That
their,
I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
in their bedroom.
Yeah.
Right? What's
Here's a question from Kim Steinbeck. Carl, do you think she dropped to the ground with Katie so she could be close to the cops and listen, and she never went to console the boys? I think the really thing that jumps out to me is not consoling the boys, and we'll get in more of her body language and demeanor later on here. What we'll see for the end of day, towards the end of day one. But drop to the ground is be close to the cops and listen. It could be. I just think I think she was probably in a monitoring mode. So we'll see more of that as time goes on here.
The question? Sorry.
do you think there's a lot of reasons why a widow would not want to continue to live in the bedroom where her husband died in front of her?
Honestly, I can see some people would and some people wouldn't.
Okay. You also mentioned just now, and also when you were on direct with Mr. Bloodworth, that you never knew your brother to use anything other than Advil. Is that right?
When he asked what I had seen him take, correct.
Okay. Are you aware that your brother did use other substances?
After his death, from his medical records that I got, it said that he occasionally took it for back pain.
Took what?
THC,
Okay. Which is marijuana.
marijuana.
So when he was alive, he didn't share with you that he used marijuana, did he?
Well, that's different than using marijuana. It's a THC component taken from marijuana, but that's not the same as smoking marijuana.
Not directly, no.
And you talked about your mom, which I think is great, was a drug and alcohol counselor.
Correct.
And that it was important to her that your family not be engaged with the use of drugs when she was alive.
No, I said prescription medication.
Okay. So your brother knew that it was important to your family. Sobriety was an important thing to your family.
I'll be honest with you, my mom was not against marijuana use.
Okay. But you said you were?
I said prescription medication earlier.
Okay. But for whatever reason, your brother didn't share with you during his lifetime that he used marijuana.
No.
And I know you were here during the opening statement, excuse me, Your Honor. you saw this slide of all those gummies that were seized from Eric's. You didn't know that was in his house. He didn't share
I knew that Kouri had some in there. He had shared that with me.
but he didn't tell you he did.
No.
And you also, did you know that your brother drank alcohol?
I knew that he socially drank, but he was responsible.
What she's trying to do is show that he took this fentanyl on his own. Kouri didn't happen to know about it. So they're trying to make her out to be completely oblivious and having no concern in the world or no idea in the world where this fentanyl came in the picture. But that goes against what we hear from other testimony later on of how the drugs were acquired, this fentanyl drug.
And he chose not to do that in front of you. Is that fair?
Correct.
And it's also fair and totally understandable that your brother's not going to talk about his sex life with you.
He actually did.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Did your brother share with you that he was taking testosterone?
Yes, he did.
And you knew that?
Yes. And-
Did I'll strike that. Did you go through your brother's phone ever?
No.
The morning after he passed, was there a period of time where you saw your sister Amy with his phone?
She did have his phone.
And how long did she have his phone in her possession?
Honestly, I wasn't watching Amy very close, so I can't tell you.
Okay. Did you ever have his phone that day?
No.
Your Honor, stay within the scope. Objection.
Same morning, Your Honor.
Let's keep moving. The objection is overruled as to that last question.
Did portion of the house and said you could not enter it?
There was someone at the hall, and they said that you weren't supposed to go back down the hall. So-
Once they removed your brother's body from the scene, and I know that was traumatic and I'm sorry. Once they removed his body, were you allowed to go anywhere in the house you wanted?
Yeah.
And did you see the police searching the kitchen?
Yes.
All right. What
Just
did you,
the garbage in the kitchen. That was all.
that was the only thing you saw them search for,
Mhm.
was the
Yeah.
garbage.
I wasn't around them all the time, so I don't know what else they did.
Okay, that's fair. At any point that morning, did you hear Kouri being interviewed by police?
No.
So you weren't present when they questioned her about what happened that night?
No.
Come on, move it along, counsel.
Did Eric share with you that he had used hydrocodone in the past, like in that pill bottle that we saw on the screen?
So Eric and I had talked about that. So that pill bottle on the screen, it was old. It was 2016, right?
Right.
Because Eric had a procedure, but Eric did not want to use much of it. So actually, Eric and I had several conversations when his back hurt and everything. I actually set him up with an acupuncturist and everything so that he didn't have to use any. So
Let me stop
It
you
was-
right there. Just 1 minute.
okay.
Let's just break it down.
Okay.
So you knew that he had used hydrocodone in the past for pain?
He did not like to, but if it was extreme,
He did use it.
yeah, but he would never like take the whole finish
And-
prescription.
And, well, as far as you knew.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew that he had back pain.
Correct.
And you knew it because you're the person that he would go to when he was in pain.
Correct.
And you helped him try to find an acupuncturist for his pain.
Yeah, he went to an acupuncturist.
How often do you do that?
I set up the appointments. They actually helped really quickly. So he went to a couple appointments to my,
Now that's a little bit strange. Your sister is making appointments for you for an acupuncturist or something. I don't know. It just seems like something the wife should be doing.
I mean, I can't give you the exact amount, but
And when, okay, I'll strike that. You also talked about the prenuptial agreement
correct.
that you saw Kouri sign at their wedding. Is that right?
I saw it before she signed it.
And is it true that in the prenuptial agreement that Kouri knew that if something happened to Eric, she would not recover She wasn't entitled. She surrendered. Let me ask it this way. Were you aware that as part of the prenuptial agreement, she was surrendering any claim on his business of C&E?
Objection. The prenup's in evidence. It says what it says. I don't think that's an accurate characterization.
I can rephrase.
The question is about what Ms. Richins Benson understood.
That's what I was going to say.
You will be able to point out later whether her understanding matches the text or not.
So was it your understanding that she was surrendering any claim to his business at C&E in the prenuptial agreement?
Only if they divorced. If he died, then she would get the business while they were still married.
Okay.
Mhm.
But if he died, once you became trustee, you were aware that his business would actually go into the trust, not to her, correct?
The business is a trust asset. His partnership is in the trust.
Okay. And that was done before he passed.
Correct.
And again, you don't recall telling the officer that Kouri was upset about that prior to the officer coming in the house?
No.
Okay. The morning that you were there, was there any period of time where you were in the garage?
Yes, I went into the garage.
And what was your purpose for going into the garage?
A medical examiner or some medical person, had asked me, do you know if Eric took any kind of pill today, an allergy pill, anything? And I said, I'll go check his truck. I know he takes allergy pills, but I'll go check his truck. So I went to the garage to check his truck.
And when you were checking his truck, was there anyone back there with you?
Lisa Darden, her mom, and
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious the family has a lot of resentment towards Kouri. They probably did at the time. They're still married. And but they also had a lot of good reasons to have not the harmony that they wanted in the family because of the stuff that Kouri was doing. So
Bree, I think it's Swerenson, followed me.
And when you were in the truck, how long were you in his truck?
Not long at all.
When you got there, was Amy in the truck?
No,
At some point, did you see Amy in the truck?
no, not
I mean, what's the point of all this, lawyer?
to my recollection.
Nestor,
All right.
you're getting bogged down. Move along.
You also mentioned that Kouri mentioned to you when she said that she was going to sell the house. I believe Mr. Bloodworth asked, could she have sold the house? And you said the answer was no. Is that right?
Correct?
And the reason the answer is no is because why?
Because the house was not Corey's asset. It was in Eric's trust. Her name was not on the deed, anything like that.
But she was his spouse under the law, right? Right?
She was his spouse under the law. Yeah.
And she had a marital interest in the house, right?
Now that's all in civil court. I can't.
Sustained.
Objection, I call it legal.
Yeah.
Sustained.
All right. Now I want to talk about before the body was removed. Were you present or did you?
If she's got a prenup with him and the house is in a trust, his own trust, and he bought it in his own name, then I would say she doesn't have a marital interest in it at all.
Do you have an understanding about where they were going to take the body?
No.
Did you hear a conversation or were you a part of a conversation that discussed that there was going to be an autopsy?
I know I heard that day that they were taking him for an autopsy.
So before he even left the house, there was discussion that he was going to be autopsied. I think that's a verb. I'm not sure.
I can't tell you if it was before or after
But there was a discussion in the house about it. You all knew it.
that they would take him for an autopsy. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the conversation that you testified about where there was a discussion about cremation or burial with Kouri's mom.
Correct.
At that point, the autopsy was over, right?
I don't know when the autopsy was over.
When was that conversation?
That conversation was on the 5th.
So 2 days after he passed. And where was the body at that time, to your knowledge?
That's you get a later answer. The last
I'm so sorry. I thought you were
Yeah,
finished. I
sorry.
apologize.
Okay. Well,
The
okay,
question
can you
was
ask?
on the 5th.
Yeah, it was on the 5th when we talked about the burial.
So 2 days after they'd removed, or 1 day, I'm
One
sorry,
day.
after they'd removed his body from the house.
Correct.
So when you were having that conversation, where was your understanding of where the body was?
It would have been in one of two places, either at the medical examiner's office or at the mortuary.
What's the relevance? So where the body was at and what day, how many days after the murder?
So
Gotta-
bear with me then. At the point that his remains were finally interred, either through cremation or burial, that autopsy already would have happened, correct?
Honestly, I remember talking to the mortuary. They were watching to see when it was done. They said that it could take a couple days because it was later.
What's this got to do with anything? Attorney
So,
Nestor?
I can't tell you if it was done or not. I can't
Let me ask
remember.
you this. Let me ask you this way. They weren't going to let you bury him or cremate him until they'd finish that autopsy and release the body to the family, correct?
I mean, I would assume so, but I've never dealt with this with the medical examiner's office. So
And once you all had that conversation with Lisa and Kouri about whether he wanted to be buried or cremated, did Kouri agree to bury him?
it went back and forth for a little while.
And then did Kouri agree to bury him?
Yeah, we buried him.
That's right.
Well, why wouldn't Kouri have agreed to bury him? I don't understand your point of your question.
The handwriting samples that Mr. Bloodworth asked you to identify. Is it fair to say that you organized an effort to gather a bunch of signatures of Eric's to compare with the signature, another signature to see if you believe Kouri forged his signature on something?
Yeah, it was for the civil lawsuit that we were going through. And yes, it was to see if that was his signature or not, because he had told me he did not sign it.
And you personally took responsibility for that effort of gathering those signatures, correct?
So my duty as personal representative is to look into any claim that the estate may have. So yes, I did.
And you sent that information to the prosecution team in this case?
I did not personally send it. No.
You did hire an expert to look at it, right?
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
was-
I just told you that's my fiduciary duty as a representative of my brother, so over his estate, to look into any claims that the estate has.
And who was the expert that you hired to look at those handwriting samples?
His last name's Throckmorton.
And it's Matthew Throckmorton?
I only ever met him once. I think his first name's Matthew. Yeah.
And you guys paid him a fee to do that?
I actually didn't pay him. My law firm did, but then it went on the bill, so I didn't directly pay him.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yeah, plus a pill bottle from 2016.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
This is 2022.
All right, handing you a document that's been marked INP KRB3.
Okay.
Do you recognize that document?
I actually do not. I have not seen this before.
Okay, I'll take it back. Thank you so much. Did you pay other experts in connection with this investigation?
I did.
Who were the other experts you hired?
No, this is
Um,
1.25
Is
speed.
Brooke Carrington one of them?
Your Honor, objection, point of clarification. When she says this investigation, the
Yeah.
criminal investigation or the civil investigation?
Provide a little more foundation, please.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm happy to. Did the trust hire a woman named Brooke Carrington to do a financial investigation on Kouri Richins?
It's really tricky. It would actually be the estate that did, not the trust that did.
Okay.
So Brooke Carrington worked for the estate.
And were you also in charge of the estate?
Correct. I am a personal representative for my brother.
And you personally paid Brooke Carrington?
Correct.
Okay, may I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
All right, I'm handing you another document asking if you've seen this before.
Yes.
They want to make it look like it's a family-driven process.
KRB2. What is that document?
So Brooke was a financial forensic accountant for us, looking into any claims that the estate would potentially have. So I paid her for her work on that.
And what is that amount that you paid Brooke Carrington?
$14,625.
And is that your signature on that check?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move to admit that as Exhibit 3003, Defense 3003.
No objection, Your Honor.
Defense 3003 is admitted.
Can we publish that to the jury,
Ready
please?
to go? Okay. One moment. There you go.
What's the date on that check?
6/21 of 23.
All right. And are you aware if that was after Kouri had been charged with this crime?
Let me think of dates really quick. Yes, it was after, because once Kouri had been charged, Brooke quit working for us. So she sent a bill and I paid the bill once.
And why did she quit working for you?
She started working for the state and we hired a different forensic accountant to work for the estate.
And who provided her name to the state as a potential expert?
I'm not sure.
That wasn't you?
I actually never even talked to any of the prosecution or anything before that. So no, it was not me. I did not even know who they were.
I'm sorry, you said you hadn't talked to the prosecution prior to June of 2023?
Prior to her being arrested.
Let me clarify to make sure that I don't impeach you for something you're not meaning to say.
Okay.
when you say the prosecution, you mean the actual people sitting at the table, not
Yeah.
their investigators.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
lawyers.
Because you had talked a lot to the investigators prior to Kouri being arrested.
I had talked to investigators. I had never talked to these guys.
Totally fair. I just didn't want to come after
Sorry.
you.
Nope. Different.
I wanted,
Thank you.
I want it to be right. So to go back to that, you had talked a lot to the investigators that were investigating this case on the criminal side prior to Kouri being arrested.
I had talked to them.
And as a matter of fact, on March 21st of 2022, so before there was an official finding of Eric's cause of death, isn't it fair that you sent an email to the chief detective, the same one you talked to in the driveway or outside the house, with the timeline of everything suspicious that Kouri had done in the last multiple years?
I can't remember the exact dates.
Okay, let me approach.
I mean, why would you want to bring this out as a defense counsel? Let it be kept under wraps. You don't want the jury hearing about this. Everything that led up to the murder, a detailed timeline. I mean, why would you do that? It's just baffling to me. Without even knowing what the details are, that makes it look really bad for your client. That somebody took detailed notes on all the suspicious activity occurring for a long time.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Oh, sorry, yes. Counsel. I trust you folks. You can have leave to approach the witness as needed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's nice for the judge to do that, for the attorneys. They don't have to say, may I approach each time.
Just talking about that you sent to Detective Woody on March 21st of 2022.
Correct.
And attached to that email is what you called a timeline. Is that right?
Correct.
How many pages is that timeline you provided to
I
Detective
don't know.
Woody?
That's hurting your client. Defense lawyer. Looking bad.
9, if I'm counting right.
What was your purpose?
So 9-page detailed timeline and all the things that was done to set up the murder of Eric. And you want to bring that out? I think her motive for bringing that out is to try to show that this is how much the family was pushing to get the state to prosecute. But really, the state wouldn't have prosecuted otherwise if it wasn't for the family being in a position there to keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
This for sending that timeline to Detective Woody?
Because I'm not a detective. Eric's death was suspicious. So I wanted to get it to the professionals.
And everything in there is about Kouri, right?
No, not everything.
Did you identify anyone else you thought might have been involved in Eric's death in this timeline?
It talks about.
Don't read it because it's not in evidence, but you can just
Oh.
generally talk about the topics.
I know it talks about Lisa in there. I saw as I was flipping through it, talks about Ronnie's fiance or girlfriend, Bree. Talks about a lot of different people.
All right. And that timeline goes back years, probably. Is that fair? Does it start way before he died?
Yeah, 2016.
So you go all the way back to 2016 in the information you gave the investigators.
Mhm.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And then do you remember shortly after that you did some investigation into Kouri's business online and forwarded that to an investigator? Do you remember doing that?
I did not personally do the investigation, but if you show it to me, I can definitely tell you.
Okay. All right. May I approach her? I forgot. Sorry. It's habit. That's federal court. I'm handing you, it's been marked for identification as KRB 11. See if that refreshes your memory a little bit. Is that your email address?
Correct. It is.
So that's you forwarding to the investigator background information on Kouri's businesses?
Correct.
All right. And then do you also remember forwarding on March 28th to the same investigator reporting that Kouri had asked for her wedding ring back from the medical examiner and you thought that was suspicious? Remember doing that?
Can you show me the email
Sure.
again?
Asking a witness a date on something, a witness isn't going to remember the exact date. So you're sort of asking to get bogged down in minutia that a witness is not going to recall. So I don't think a date was important.
showing you KRB 12 and see if that refreshes your memory a little bit.
Thanks. Not her wedding ring, my brother's.
I'm sorry, the ring that he wore
Correct.
on his finger. And she was asking for it back, right?
Correct.
And you thought the detective should maybe test the ring, or you thought that was suspicious and you reported that?
Yeah.
Okay. Also in there, you talk about ring cameras. Did you share ring camera information with the investigators?
I did not have the ring camera information.
Okay. Do you remember in May of 2022 suggesting with the officers, the investigating officer, that Kouri may have tried to kill your brother on Valentine's Day with
Yes.
a sandwich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my brother talked to me about it.
As far as you know, had that information
That is really critical for the prosecution then to follow back up and ask, well, what was discussed? What did he tell you?
ever been imparted to them before you gave that to them?
I would have no way of knowing that.
Okay, fair. Did you also do some online sleuthing into her mom's Venmo and Susan Kohler's Venmo?
I did not personally.
Did you forward that information to the investigators to use in their
Can I see
investigation?
the?
Sure.
I'm not aware that Brad was a JAG for the Navy.
Email, please.
Had not heard that. I worked with Navy JAGs.
Showing you KRB 14 with the
Mostly
email
at
dated April
Pentagon
25th. Does
and-
that look like your email address?
Correct.
Okay. So the answer is yes, you did
Guantanamo
that?
Bay,
Yeah.
Cuba.
All right.
Not objection. In this case, the email. There was no sleuthing into Susan Kohler's Venmo. It was just into Lisa Darden's.
I'm sorry. It does mention Susan in there. You want to see it again?
Do you want to just show the jury what it says instead of just talking about it?
Sure. I move to admit the exhibit. And Katie, can you pull that up?
Any objection, Mr. Bloodworth?
No objection.
Okay. Give me the number one more time, Ms. Nestor.
It would be 3004.
Okay. So this will be D3004. This is, for the record, an April 25, 2022 email from an email address in bold print indicated as Richins Benson. We'll publish it now.
Can you blow that up, please, so Jerry can see it? You see that there you were looking into two different people's Venmo accounts, Susan Kohler and Lisa Darden?
Yeah, those are the two people that are on there.
And you also investigated the background of Susan Kohler and shared that with the prosecutor,
I did not personally.
but you forwarded it.
Correct.
Okay. At some point, didn't you also get access to Kouri's banking records?
Not for a long time down the road.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor? Oh, gosh, I'm gonna quit doing that. I swear. My brain's wired about it. A letter dated November 7th of 2022, which was a few months after Eric died. Can you just read that for a minute and tell me if you remember that letter?
Honestly, I've never seen this before.
Okay, totally fair.
Do you want me to keep reading the whole thing?
If you can't identify it. that's
Okay.
fine. I thought you might have read it.
Uh-uh.
Do you remember being asked how you obtained Kouri's private bank records without her permission? Did anyone ever confront you about that?
I think we're talking about two different things. The only bank records or banking that we have received is through the litigation for the civil lawsuit when the trust was granted a constructive trust.
And
so
so
that's the only thing.
So in your role as trustee, you went about to get her private banking records?
No, it's all litigation and it's really hard for me to.
And the lawyers are the one doing it. She's not the one doing it. The lawyers would be doing that. So that's really, I think, a bad move for the defense to try to bring this kind of stuff up, making it look like she's the one looking for the information. It's the lawyers for the trust.
Go through it. I mean, my lawyer's here. He can speak to it a lot better than I can.
Definitely don't want you to have to become one of us, so don't worry about it. You also had multiple interviews with the Simon County investigators. They came to your house once and interviewed you, is that right?
Correct.
And you also interviewed with Detective Woody, I think here or in this area, in this complex somewhere.
Correct.
And you also had multiple phone conversations with the prosecution, all this before Kouri was arrested. Is that right? I mean, we just looked at a bunch of emails.
Awesome.
We have to be more precise. Decision matters in this business.
Is it fair to, I'll withdraw.
Is different. The prosecution may mean different things.
I'll rephrase it, Your Honor. I'm happy to.
Thank you.
It was a little confusing, so let me try that again. Is it fair to say you had regular communication with the investigators in the criminal case almost immediately after your brother's death, even before they got into the house and after?
I did talk to the detectives, yes.
Okay, just a minute. Were there occasions where you sent potential witness names and contact information to the investigators on the criminal side?
That was in the email you sent. There were some names.
Okay. Do you remember, well, let's strike that. Because you were the trustee of the home, you guys were in charge of, well, let me rephrase it this way. How long did Kouri stay in the house after her husband died?
Till her arrest, I believe on May 8th of 2023.
So for that year, Kouri remained in the home with her boys. Is that right?
Correct.
Right. After that, you became in charge of maintaining the home once Kouri was arrested. Is that right?
I did before as well too. I fixed water leaks, paid off the mortgage, stuff like that.
Right. And you fixed a water leak in that house on Willow Court?
Correct.
When was that?
It was in February. It was when it was January or February. There was a ton of snow on the ground. So I had to pay people to shovel all the snow to get down to it.
Okay. And that was Kouri and Eric's home?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, at the trust house.
Got it. I understand. During that time,
I mean, so far she's bringing out of this witness that Kouri cannot be trusted with anything involving her affairs, and it makes you feel sorry for Eric and Eric's family trying to do all this stuff.
were there times where law enforcement needed access to the house to search it?
Are you talking after?
After Kouri's arrest, sorry.
Yes. Yes.
All right. About how many times did you guys have to provide access to law enforcement to search that house?
I don't know off the top of my head.
If I were to say around 10, 11 times, does that sound completely out of bounds or does that sound about right?
So I put my husband over all of that. So I'm not going to have the best knowledge of that.
So that would be your husband,
Correct.
right? But the private investigator that you guys hired answered to you, right? Not your husband?
He was hired by the estate.
So he communicated with you directly.
Both me and my husband.
Did you give him unfettered access to the house?
No.
How many times would you say that investigator was in that house?
That's going to be better to ask my husband as well, too. My husband went with him every time.
Totally fair. Did you guys have the video equipment set up inside the house?
Like cameras to
Yes.
monitor? Yeah. Yeah.
When did you guys put that in there?
I apologize, but that is also better to ask my husband. He was over all of that.
All right.
What difference does it make?
Court's indulgence for just a moment, Your Honor.
She's just all over the map. I just don't get it. It just really shows they don't have much of a defense strategy here.
I'm so sorry. Just one more moment.
The exact date, I can't remember. I think it was at the beginning of April
So-
of 2022. Could have been in March. I don't
Within a
have the
couple
exact
of
date
weeks.
with me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, sorry. No, yeah.
Within a couple of weeks of Eric's death.
I think they'll do some kind of have preparation of a forensic accountant, CPA type that'll talk about the finances, sort of like we saw in the trial with Charlie and Donna Adelson, where they had the jury see how much money that the Adelsons had available to be able to do things, including the offering $1 million and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, defense doesn't have much for sure. Scatter shot. It doesn't sound like it. What we're seeing.
Yeah, correct.
At some point, did you guys plan a celebration of life for Eric beyond the funeral, like a celebration of life?
No. Did I? No.
Yes.
No.
You weren't involved in that?
No, we had the funeral.
Okay. And just one moment, I need to check one date.
Well, what's the point of that? She's so date centric, and the witnesses and jurors, they're not so concerned about the date. Was it the 22nd of
I'm
March?
really sorry if I'm wrong, but I think it was the,
Those are critical.
I have to see a calendar. I think it's March 11th.
So
I think,
within a week or so of his death, probably, give or take.
yeah, it was quick after.
And wasn't there a celebration of life on April 1st? Do you remember that? Were you involved in that at all?
No, no.
Okay, totally fair. Ms. Richins Benson, that is all we have. I'm sorry for your loss, and thank you for answering our questions. Thank you.
Mr. Bloodworth, any redirect within the scope of cross?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
So more came out of this witness that was helpful to the prosecution on the cross-examination than there was on direct. So I think the prosecution may figure out now, just sort of let these guys go beyond the scope of the direct more, because they're gonna help bury their own client. All right, so next we have Clinton Benson at 554. That is Katie's husband. That's more redirect. We don't need to go in there. This is her husband here.
Licensed realtor as well as licensed appraiser.
Works for Salt County. He's an asset manager
You are
in charge of over $5 billion worth of assets for the city of Salt Lake, apparently. So his wife is Katie, and him and Katie lived at the residence where the murder happened, 282 Willow Court, and he sold it to Eric and in 2012. And then Kouri moved in with him shortly thereafter or near that time, but it was in his name the whole time, or in the trust name. So there's not really much to get out of the cross here at 614. Let's get a flavor of it here.
Ms. Lewis?
Kouri moved in and he says that he agrees that they probably less than a year later that they got married. And then he talks about in 2020, he helped get a divorce attorney lined up for Eric to see.
To the divorce lawyer that was requested.
Yes.
All right. And is it fair to say you were doing this because Eric didn't want Kouri to know he was considering a divorce at that time? Fair?
Eric was aware that Kouri was watching his emails and didn't want her to know.
So he didn't want her to know he was considering divorce.
I can't
So this is the partner with Nestor, her other firm member, Ms. Lewis.
speak for him, so I don't know exactly what he was thinking at that moment.
All right. But he asked all the correspondence be with you and not with him. Email and things being anything sent, either email or mail, was all done by you.
I can't say in general all correspondence.
I
So I've
understand.
got to clarify that. It's only correspondence that I am aware of. So whatever Eric did outside of my knowledge, I can't answer that.
I understand that. And you're not aware of any other correspondence that Eric did. You're just not aware.
No, the divorce attorney would be the best source of that information.
All right. And we'll get a chance to talk to her. So anyway,
Just a lot of wasted time here. Okay, they had a break at 6:49. They talk about what PI was allowed to go in the home.
Please proceed.
Sort of sounds like an AI voice at times.
all right, so we were talking about Mr. Gabler. As part of Mr. Gabler's investigation, he was allowed into the Willow Court home a number of times, correct?
Correct.
And he would go into the home and look through things all through the house, correct?
Correct.
Were you with him? I think you said you were, but you were with him every single time he went into the home.
Yes.
And did you see him move things around the home when he would go in?
Yes.
Here's a
All
normal.
right. And this was, well, let me rephrase that. Do you know when the first time was that he went in the home?
I don't know an exact date. You would probably know that date.
He would know what you said.
Or he would most likely.
And asking both these attorneys asking for pinpointed dates. I'm just not used to seeing that in a trial. Why would everybody know the exact date on all these things? Witnesses are not going to remember that. They may remember soon after the murder or things like that, just general time frames. But anyway, let's go ahead. you sort of got a flavor for that. I want to jump ahead to the deputy win. We got some video there. It's 7:14.
To disconnect from the HDMI.
What does he take? What medicine does he take? Can you find it and tell us?
That's why they're trying to rescue Eric in that room there. He's on the bed. There's a big bear there on the wall, big elk. This is sounded some scene of like a mobile ventilator. I think they call it a Lucas. On the ground there.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey guys, and on downtime, Denise is supposed to be got here. He's had 2 Eppies and Narcan.
There you can hear Kouri coming out, and there you can see her coming out of the bathroom. Look, where's she been? And she's got this real soft pitch, whiny type squeaky voice.
He's on Narcan. Blood sugar is 458.
Oh.
Hands over the face. Where have we seen that before?
Tim, you want to come out here?
I don't think she's got any tears. I think that's why she's got her hand over the face. That's the way a wife acts when she's thinking that her husband's might be dead or is dead.
Chest pain when you went to bed.
It's like she's resigned to the outcome already.
What's your first name? What's your first name? Yeah, let me talk to you out here for a second. Let them do their work in there. So what happened today?
Why don't she agree to leave the room or not do something? Go check on the boys or something.
When you say we were fine,
Why would-
what time did you see him when he was alert?
We had a drink together at 9 to celebrate something at work tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow was supposed to be the closing on the mansion.
We went to bed. I went to bed with my kids. He went to bed in our bed.
What time did you guys go to bed?
9:30,
9:30. Okay.
9:45.
And then what alerted you to him today? Right now.
Hands over face.
I just woke up. When I sleep with my kids, I'll just wake up and I go back in my own bed.
Mm-hmm.
I just crawled over on his side.
And he was laying in bed.
So you'd rather be interviewed by the police than making sure that your husband is going to survive this.
Okay.
He was on his back on the bed, and
Okay. And he was on. You said he was on his back. Okay. Where are your children now?
to sleep in that room. 2 are awake with their ear to the door. I
And-
go, let me come out. Please don't make me
Now,
come out.
where are the other 2 at that are awake?
No hallway bedroom.
And where's that at?
Who's there? First one to your left.
Okay. Is there any family members we can call right now?
Yeah, I need to call my mom. I need to call my mom so bad.
Okay.
I think I don't know. 911's on the phone. I don't.
Why wouldn't she call her mom right away or done something to try to get consoled here?
Here.
Please sound
Okay.
up.
I call my mom.
Yep. I'll give you a phone right now. Okay.
I need to call his dad. He's gonna be okay, right? Like I got in bed and then I just
Yeah,
got.
they're doing their best. Okay, ma'am. Here, you can use my phone.
Sounds like poor acting.
Mom.
Yeah.
Go to my house. Go to my house.
What's going on?
I don't know. Something's wrong with Eric. The police and girls are here. I don't know what's happening. He wasn't breathing. I don't know.
Who?
Eric.
Where's he at? Oh, on my way.
I think my partner found your phone. Is this it right here? Does he have any medical
This doesn't sound like a normal human reaction.
conditions or anything like that?
He has Lyme's disease.
Lyme's disease?
But nothing major. Like,
Okay. So no heart problems or anything like
Answer
that?
Questions.
no, he just said his chest.
He's trying to
was
sound
hurting when he went to
upset,
bed, but that's. Not. If he doesn't drink enough water, when he gets on the bike downstairs, I don't know. It didn't. And then he just said he was really tired because he got his allergy shots yesterday morning
Okay.
She's pretty composed.
with my son. They went to
Sure, he's picking up on this. This is so great that they have these body
And then when did you discover him? What time?
Think about it. Decades ago, we've had cops testify as to what the behavior was of individuals. Now we have actual body cam coverage, so it's indisputable.
Three.
This is
About
helping
3.
the jury see you can't trust her.
Did you immediately call the 911?
She's not acting normal.
Yeah, well, I got up, as soon as I turned over and he was cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's no rush.
Something was wrong, but I just put the blanket on it.
Why call 911 right away? I'll put a blanket on him and make sure he's dead before I call.
And then I sat there for a minute and I just didn't feel like breathing or anything. And so I oh my God.
Okay.
Alright. And he just felt so heavy.
Mm-hmm. Any COVID or anything like that?
We all just got over COVID.
Okay. And when was that?
Weeks ago.
Okay, so not recently.
Well, he just had a negative test. So I was the last positive, and then he had it. So his last negative test was a week ago.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Does this sound
Hey, ma'am, what's your name?
Kouri.
I'm sorry, what was that?
legit
Kouri.
drama?
With a C?
Kouri.
Where's the crying? Why is she allowed to? Why is she sitting there not doing something to check on her husband? Yeah. Yeah, it's like Murdo and Adelson's. I agree, Cali girl. Yeah, they hide their face because there's no tears. I wonder if the cops are noticing there's no tears. They note that in their records. I would hope that they do.
He's gummy. Sometimes he'll take a gummy before he goes to bed.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't seemed like you did though.
Just sort of
It's like a gummy, as in like a
No, you're
THC
crying.
gummy.
not even crying. Why didn't she say, hey, what's the status? What's the status? Is he alive or not? What's going on? I need to get in there. Nothing.
And who is his primary care physician?
Yeah.
Lovely in person.
Who?
Herb Lovely.
How you spell it? How's
P-L-E-Y.
Lepley?
Do something with the kids, running back and seeing the kids, and
When was he last seen?
I don't know.
Physical. Like, everything was fine.
When was that?
6 months, maybe.
Well, like the Adelson case, no checking on the kids.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What do you mean?
Hmm.
His dad.
Yeah, I agree. Is he alive or not?
Kids are awake. They're in that door.
She knows he's dead.
To the left.
She knows he wasn't breathing for 15 minutes at least, probably a lot longer, hours longer.
So basically, she said, went to bed at 9:30. She slept with the kids because then she goes to bed. When she went to bed, around 3 o'clock, moved in her bed. He was cold and heavy. He has Lyme disease. He got an allergy shot yesterday. He might have taken a gummy, THC gummy, last night. So, other than that, just Lyme disease.
I don't have dispensed
It's probably gonna be big here here.
There's no soul crushing crying going on. I don't know why people like that think they can get away with it. So right now, think about it. Day one, jury's like on, man, we heard all that stuff that the family is doing. And
I don't understand. Like, he wasn't safe. Like, he
to tally up all the indicators of her involvement, 9 pages worth, brought up by the defense counsel, and now they are seeing this acting, terrible acting, no concern. No concern. She's not asking, even if she's not going in the room, you're not asking what's the status.
Okay, 32. What's my case number?
Yeah, that's what I believe. Knew he's long dead, so unbelievable.
Copy. Yeah, affirm. And the complaint's going to be of the wife, first name of Kouri.
I could do a better job of acting in that, sounding like you're whining and sobbing and boo-hooing.
Oh my God.
She's just accepted the fact that he's dead, and she's not even bothered by it. You know, something like that. What if they come out and said, hey, he's going to be okay? What? That'd freak her out. Sort of like, well, that's a game changer. He's going to come pull through? What are you talking about? That wasn't in the plan of action here.
I can't tell.
seem to have lost the sound.
Scott, pause there for a minute. Thank you, sir. Scott, don't change anything for a minute, please.
I'll look at her in court now.
Yeah, don't change anything for a moment. Let me see if I can fix this from my end.
Stone cold. Hmm. Yeah. She's thinking about that vacation.
Scott, can you go back
Away.
5 or 10 seconds and test sound for me?
We're good. We're just waiting for our OME, and our detective to show.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he had an aneurysm or something with all the blood.
Okay.
That's
A lot of blood.
There's a lot of blood for some unknown reason.
Were you first on scene?
We were second. The Southside Fire guy was here before us.
And there was blood before they get.
A little bit coming out as soon as we start doing compressions with the Lucas. It's when the blood came out. So,
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
No pulse or anything?
No, he was cold. I think he'd been down a while. Not a long time, but he'd been down a minute.
Dead for a while.
He was asystole the whole time. So.
Okay. All right.
No
Yeah,
heart movement whatsoever.
pretty young.
Yeah.
Maybe took some gummies.
Yeah, that's what you were
That's
saying.
what she said. And then the hydrocodone. I think there was hydrocodone or something.
It was
96 or something.
2016.
2016, yeah. Pretty old.
Did you take that?
We don't know. It was sitting there though.
It's in the drawer right there.
You know, should have called 911 right away. I think maybe he would have survived, right? But you wait with a drug like fentanyl, I would think the window is very, very tight. You could probably ingest it and call 911. You may die before then, depending on the amount. It seems like he had a lot. So
There's something.
It
What
is.
is this right here? Is that it? Are you taking for Lyme disease?
Yeah.
Check that.
Sort of just looked at it. Said it was built in 2016.
Yeah, that one.
It's under his neck. I think he sleeps on that side
first,
of it, though.
thinking about
Was that?
some are at least thinking about what they saw in the opening, right? How she was celebrating with some of these memes. Oh, memes.
That might be hers. Is it in
It's
his
his.
name?
Yeah.
Oh, it's his. Okay. But it's empty, right? There's nothing in
Yeah.
it? Maybe we gave him Narcan. That would have, if you, search online in there.
And then you arrived and he was already on the floor, right?
Yeah, she had pulled him down to the floor.
Kouri? I'm gonna need to ask you some questions real quick, okay? Has he ever been in the military?
No,
No. Does he use tobacco?
no.
No. And what does he do for a living?
He owns a stone mason company.
And then when you discovered him, was he on the bed? Yes.
He's just laying on his side like normal.
Okay.
I just thought he was cold. It just was cold in there, so I put the blanket on him.
Yeah.
But his body just felt like heavy, and
And which way was he facing? Was he facing towards?
no, he was just up, just facing up.
Oh, so he's laying on his back.
Facing on his
Okay.
back.
And then did you pull him to the ground?
Yeah, that's what the lady on the phone told me to do,
Okay.
was to take the sheet and pull the sheet
Okay.
to the ground
No
so I
fear.
could do CPR.
Okay. What's his highest level of education?
It's a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
His husband active. He didn't just die in his sleep. This is insane.
Any
Yeah.
mental health conditions? No. Okay.
No,
How about any suicidal
no,
history? No.
never.
Okay.
No.
Oh, poor dog.
Has he been seen by a doctor in the last 30 days?
No.
Okay. Has any
Cruelty. Wow.
prescriptions been filled in the last 30 days? No. Has he had a history of falling or anything? No. Any history of prescription abuse?
That's
No.
I mean,
that's
he was in high school and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Pain pills, I think.
she's not shaking that. She's just moving her legs like that, right?
Or maybe it reacted to his shots yesterday.
He just said he didn't feel good from them. Like,
He didn't look good last night.
he looked pale last night. And I asked if you were okay. And he said, yeah. But he was saying his chest was hurting. But
Does he have any history of illicit drug use or anything in the
no,
past year?
no, never.
Okay. Do you have the phone number to Herb, his doctor? By chance?
What's his status? We heard at one point her asking what his status is.
I don't know yet. We'll see.
Let's see, we're at 7:34.
I don't. It's just at the Park City Family Clinic and hospital. Or,
Yeah, I can look it up.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
14.
Why did you tell the time?
In 20 minutes.
They shouldn't have told him my answer.
Oh.
They all know. They told me.
How do they know?
Carter told me. God told me.
What they had told him?
No, I wouldn't think.
We were in there, so we were maybe a fire
Do they
department.
know?
Maybe yeah.
Oh my freaking God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
All right. All right, so there's one line. It doesn't sound. It doesn't. It didn't even know. I didn't note that. It's just,
God, that number just kept ringing this morning, and I'm like,
Yeah, because we couldn't find her phone.
yeah.
I thought somebody called from a cell phone, and then when you Google it, it says it's a spoof number. What? I'm gonna go up here to these people.
Mom, is the door closed, my room?
Yes, we
They won't let me. Is he still in there?
So I'll explain to you what the process is right now. Because he was in good health and his age and everything like that. Okay, our medical examiner is going to come and do their investigation real quick, and then also our detective, just to make sure that everything's documented, correctly. And then from there, they'll explain to you what's going to happen. Most likely, what I'm thinking, because he has no serious health problems or anything like that. His age, most likely, they're going to take his body to the
Oh my God.
medical examiner's office just to make sure that, there wasn't anything else.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions for me right now?
No. He had allergy shots yesterday.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah, that's why.
and that's what
He
she was
wasn't feeling
saying.
good last night when I was here.
What kind of allergy shots?
He gets weekly shots.
Him and his boy get weekly shots.
So they're both just feeling
like seasonal allergies?
Yeah.
Okay. And where was that?
You're not
At?
going to do
Park
anything.
City.
Park City.
Family Medical,
No. Jeremy Ranch, Granger Medical.
Granger. Okay.
No crying.
Oh my God.
We heard that boo-hooing. Big boo-hooing. Strange. I mean, the longer this goes on, the more guilty she looks, in my opinion. I think that's what jury would be picking up on. Look at that.
I did. They're all watching TV. I said, you guys gotta go back to sleep. It's 4:00 in the morning.
Cam.
Need to go over there and they sell it for to get the van keys.
Okay.
So do this here with you.
Yep.
Oh, what? Yeah. That's cool. You want getting
Please, here, he's gonna help. Where are my boys?
The kids are in.
now you have to the boys are?
Where's my brother?
He's in this room.
No.
Katie's up.
All right.
Hyperventilating.
Is there a way we could relocate your boys upstairs?
Yeah,
Because there's gonna be a lot of traffic.
yeah, I'll tell her now. Okay. What? Wait, come on. Come on. Come on. See you. Bob, come on. Come on, Bob. I love you so much. Come on, my sweetheart.
Yeah.
Come on, sweetheart. Come on.
We're good now. I can explain to her if you want to go.
I miss everything. I miss Chris, Will, everything. I miss her attorney. I miss everything.
We don't have
Go
to worry about
upstairs.
that kind of stuff right now.
With the boys. Go upstairs with the boys.
Golly.
I'm sorry. This is
No, it's all natural, okay?
Yeah.
Just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Yeah. Hyperventilating. Yeah. That's what you do. That kind of stuff. You know, a loved one's not going to make it or pass away.
Okay. I gotta breathe. Oh my God, I gotta breathe. I just talked to him like a couple hours ago. And he just woke up and he wasn't breathing. I went to bed. I went back to bed. Some nightmares. So I went back in our room and it was breathe.
Yeah. So the kid has nightmares.
And I just turned over to
Now he's got to deal with this. His dad dying in the night in their own house.
cuddle him and he's fine.
I think they had to stay in that house for weeks or a couple months after this night.
I wish it was so cold.
How could they?
It's been gone a while.
So the only information I know from what the medical staff that was here is he was cold to the touch, okay, and it seemed like he was down for a while.
We
So-
went to bed. He was fine at 9:30. I mean, that's when I went to the bedroom with Ashton. I mean, so unless he went, like, I didn't hear anything. He didn't yell. He didn't say anything was wrong. Nothing happened. Like, nothing happened. Oh my God, this is not real. Nothing happened. Like, I didn't hear anything. And right across the room, like, if he was in pain, why didn't he yell?
It sounds like he wasn't.
I know, but I mean, I'm such a light sleeper, I could have heard anything. I just could have heard anything if he just said Kouri, like I would have.
Just bad acting. All right, I'm going to jump ahead. I think a jury has definitely seen enough to get it now. So I'm going to go to the cross
Oh, that's my brother.
at the 8:15 mark. Here's
I released the
the cross-examination by male defense attorney. His name is Alex.
Give me 1 second. I just want to hear.
And I just don't know what's
Usual
going on here.
that he died. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So maybe something is in this drink. Correct?
Possibly, but
Possibly. Possibly.
Pointing at the
Did
window
you
like that?
possibly go to the kitchen?
I did not.
You did not. Did you possibly look in the sink?
I did not.
You did not.
Looking at him. Wow.
Did you possibly tell another deputy he was there, go to the kitchen?
I did not.
Did you possibly tell somebody else, go look in the sink?
I did not.
You did not.
Okay. Him mirroring what he's saying like that, it's just, if you get away with it in the court, sorry, you're looking really bad. You're looking really snarky and you're belittling and mocking this officer. Okay. Even if you did something wrong, you don't need to mock him. and you going around pointing your finger like that and strutting around like that, like, okay, it's just not a good look.
That possibly is important, right?
You can have some righteous indignation and even a little bit of anger as a defense attorney when a cop's not doing something they should do. I think this guy's just taking it way overboard. It's almost like he's acting.
Yes. Yes.
That's just really weird. I've never seen this before. It's really cringy, guys. I'm telling you.
When somebody loses their life, it's important. Right? Yes.
Walking around, turning your back to the judge, even stuff like that. That's just rude.
You asked, and we all heard you asked Miss Richins countless questions, right? Yes. And she answered all of them. Yes. 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 You asked her questions that were on your sheet, right? Yes. And then you asked her questions as things came up, right? I did, yes. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. Come on.
Now, we saw you standing in the hall, and you were preventing people from going into her master bedroom, correct? Correct. To preserve the scene. Correct? Correct. Okay.
Point at him some more.
Now, the reason you're doing that is because of all of these possiblies, correct? Correct. So, one of those possibilies was that hydrocodone bottle, correct? Correct. Now, you took a picture of it. I don't recall taking a picture of it. Do you recall somebody taking a picture of it? Yes. Do you recall somebody opening it? I don't recall. Do you recall somebody taking a picture of the inside of it? I don't recall. Do you recall getting that hydrocodone bottle and putting it in an evidence bag? I did not do that. You did not. Did anybody do that? I don't recall. Now, having a celebratory drink, you found out, happened in the house, correct? Yes. They didn't go out somewhere, correct? Correct. And you knew that Miss Richins' mother was also there, right? I didn't know. You didn't know? I didn't know she was there. Really? I may have one second to it. I think we all knew that she was there because we just heard Miss Darden say, yeah, he looked pale. So you didn't know that Kouri's mom was there the night before? I did not know she was in the house the night before. Fair. Now,
Kouri's like, oh my God.
You were told, and you do know, that Kouri said, maybe he took some gummies? You remember that, right? Yes. And and you have, I imagine, familiarity with gummies, right?
Yes.
Now, to be clear, I'm not saying you take them. I'm just saying you're familiar with them, correct?
Yes.
You know how big they are. They're not that big.
No.
Right?
Yes.
You didn't search for those.
No, I did not specifically search for those.
Not specifically. Please elaborate.
I didn't go out and search because I was not in charge of looking for medication or anything like that.
Oh. So you weren't in charge of it. Who was?
Deputy Pimentel.
Okay. So you told Deputy Pimentel to go do that.
That was his job.
Yeah, he does seem like some kind of a actor of sorts. He's not. How do you take a guy like this serious?
To look for medications or anything like that.
Right. But what I'm saying is, somebody would have to tell him, hey, go search for this.
I passed that information to Sergeant DiBotello.
Correct. You're passing along the information. Now, you were there for an unknown time, and you indicated Pimentel was the one who's in charge of looking for that, correct?
Yes, he was assigned for that duty.
Now, at one point, you relieve him. Oh, correct?
Deputy Pimentel?
Correct.
I don't recall.
You just indicated a little bit ago that you relieved him so he can leave.
Oh, when he left, yes. For him to leave.
Correct. You relieved him, right?
Yeah, not the medical checklist duty, but to relieve him to leave.
Correct.
Yes.
On his way home. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So who did you assign to take over his responsibility?
I don't recall.
Could you please look at your report?
I don't indicate that. I did not indicate that in my report.
So how would we know if that was even done?
Because Deputy Pimentel will possibly write his supplemental report that cover what he did.
Okay, so we'll ask. When he's called, let's say we'll ask him. Now, here's a thought. You don't search for gummies. You would agree this whole environment's a traumatic environment?
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yes, it is.
For everybody. Correct?
Correct.
Yourself included.
Correct.
I mean, there's such a thing as secondary trauma, correct?
Correct.
So let's give everybody some grace.
What?
Now, you found out about the gummies from who?
Found out what gummies?
Who told you that he might have taken gummies?
You won't even look at him.
Oh, from Miss Kouri Richins.
Correct. So who would know where the gummies are?
It's like you are such a lowly person that I'm not even going to look at you. I'm just going to sort of pace around and not even look at you because you're not worthy of being treated with any kind of dignity and respect. I mean, it's really like so bizarre. I've never seen anything like this.
Miss Kouri Richins.
And did you ask her?
I'm surprised a judge. If I was a judge, I'd be going, counsel, would you face the person you're questioning?
I did not specifically ask her about the gummies.
Not specifically about the gummies. Please elaborate.
And then repeating what his answers. Please elaborate. I mean, it's all like.
I asked her about his medical prescriptions.
Nope. We're talking about the gummies. Did you ask her, Miss Richins, about the gummies that she told you about, that she volunteered? Did you ask her where they were?
I did not.
You did not.
Oh man.
Did you tell Pimentel to ask her?
I did not.
You did not.
You did not. I mean, so on one hand, it's like I would be so embarrassed to know not only is this going on in my courtroom, but this is going on for the world to see, whoever's following this case. And you got a guy acting like it's some kind of a clown show. And just
It's not like they were
literally acting so cringy and disrespectful to not only the witness, but to the court. The whole system is disrespectful. You got to treat people with dignity and respect. Even if you get mad at them lying or whatever they're doing, if they're the ones that help frame your client, you gotta come across as professional and dignified. And you can have some righteous indignation and righteous anger, but this is
hidden somewhere.
and that's a good way.
You knew where they could have been. Correct?
I did not know where they.
You couldn't have asked a question? You couldn't have asked where they were?
I could have.
And you did it, right?
Correct.
Now, you have been an officer since 2012. Correct?
In Utah, yes, correct.
What about before?
2003.
2003. In that time, you've learned quite a bit of things. Correct?
Correct.
How to investigate. Correct?
Correct.
How to document. Correct?
Correct.
How to interview. Correct?
Correct.
How important each case is. Correct?
Correct.
Because everybody counts or nobody counts. Correct?
Correct.
Now, we've talked about things that you didn't do. Let's talk about one thing you did do. Miss Richins told you how she got into bed and felt Eric's cold body.
Really emotional with the
Right?
questioning. Look at the way he's
Yes.
that body language.
And she starts trying to say, well, I mean, we keep the temperature up, right? Or down, correct?
Yes.
And what do you do with that piece of information? What do you notice?
That the temperature was set at 70 degrees.
Alex Ramos is his name. For him, I know.
Cold body, and you check thermostat, correct?
Correct.
And you even make a note that you thought it was a little warm, correct?
Oh, look at that.
I put down the temperature.
Look at his body reactions to that question. Like his total mockery.
Correct.
What was the temperature?
70.
And what did it actually read at?
71.
Yeah,
That's attention to detail, right?
Correct.
Because she told you something about a temperature and you wanted to verify it, correct?
Correct.
But it's only what you want to verify, correct?
No.
It's not. We'll leave it. Let's talk about times. Everybody's looking at that clock right now, and I'll try to shut up real quick.
Oh,
But I might need to come back.
he said he'll try to shut up real quick because everybody's looking at the clock. Well, you're looking around the room so much instead of the witness. I guess you would know that.
Tomorrow, Judge. You gathered information about time, correct?
Correct.
You even get down to the minute at some points, correct?
Correct.
When you're filling out the form, for example. Let's go back to that.
Oh, God.
You remember there was a group of EMS people, including Mr. Cernich, correct?
Correct.
And you're writing down, what time did you guys get here? Correct?
I did not ask that question.
Did you overhear it?
I did not.
Really? Okay. Leave it alone. You need to document when things happen and where they happen, correct?
Correct.
Because you know that the information that's going to go into your report is going to be seen by other officers, correct?
Correct.
By possibly prosecutors, correct?
Correct.
By possibly judges, correct?
Correct.
By possibly jurors, correct?
Correct.
So, in your report, go ahead and review it and tell me if you identify times there.
There's several.
Let's start
sections.
with the first. Are you on paragraph, let's see, 3,
Yes.
the narrative? Okay. And what is that time related?
That's a good one, Lizzie B. Kouri, the bad actress, is horrified by his acting display.
The time they had a drink,
Which was what?
9 o'clock.
Now, is that exactly 9 o'clock?
On my report,
No. Did it actually happen at 9 o'clock?
Miss Richins advised me that they had a drink at 9 o'clock.
Okay. And did you, I don't know, confirm with her how she knew that?
No, I took her word for it.
Correct. Now, you arrived at 3:40. Okay. What time were you dispatched?
I don't recall.
Were you dispatched? Would your dispatch be on your report?
Probably in the call logs.
Who cares?
You have that?
I do not.
Yeah, what's the point?
Do you think did it take you 40 minutes to get there?
I don't recall.
What were you doing in those 40 minutes?
I'll leave it alone.
How fast are you driving?
So she says about 9 o'clock.
Tell us the route.
You get there at 3:40, approximately, right?
Yes.
Now, during this time, you had some conversations with EMS. I believe it was Offred that we saw in the video. Is that correct?
Upon arrival,
No. During your investigation, during the video we just saw at the end, she indicated it's the lady who indicated, we think it's an aneurysm.
okay. Yes.
And she had said he had been cold for a while, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, the reason times are important, right, is because you need to try to figure out, hey, when did he die, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you say around 9, when you put around 9 in your report, or Ms. Richins says around 9, that's not exact, correct?
It's going off her statement.
Like a generalization, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's go to the next one. When's the next time you see a time arrival there?
The time they went to bed,
And when was that?
9:30.
So you say go to bed. Now, is that really when she closed her eyes and she was asleep?
The time she went to bed. I'm sorry.
Correct. Just went to bed, right? Like to
Yes.
the bedroom to start going to sleep.
But you didn't ask her what time she actually fell asleep, did you?
Correct.
Okay. Judge, I think I'm pushing it. May we rest here and pick it up tomorrow? No, we're not. Is that okay?
Your Honor, I guess the fundamental question is,
What, he's asking the court to stop the trial for today and pick it up tomorrow? I've never seen that before.
how much longer?
Yeah, I think the judge is embarrassed during this whole cross-examination. He's like, oh my gosh, I thought I had a chance of winning this trouble with that performance. I don't know. I don't know. Can't you guys do something about it? I don't even dare look at the jury.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've worked hard today. I appreciate your patience. Let's recess for the day. Some instructions, please, with fair warning that you will quickly become tired of me saying this, but I have to say it nonetheless.
Anyway,
First, I need you to be back.
I was like, wow, that was a good way to alienate the jury. So we heard basically the best evidence came in from the defense today, which was their cross-examination of Eric's sister, Katie. So yeah, this is interesting, very interesting. So I think that the judge, you were asking me to adjourn and listen to this nonsense again tomorrow, correct? Yeah. So just how would the jurors not sit there and be like bothered by it or visibly disturbed and whatnot? So anyway, I just, if I was a prosecutor, I'd be looking at the jury the whole time, trying to pick up on what they're feeding off this guy here. So yeah, great session. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. It's been over almost 2 hours. So I'm going to try to jump on some of the next couple days as well. Probably be in the evening. So it's going to be it's going to be quite the trial. It looks like. I think the prosecution has done really good. I think the defense is really cringy, and anyway, I hope they do a good job. I don't think that's it's good to see in America when somebody doesn't have a good, formidable defense, even if they're totally guilty. But anyway, that's it for now. You all have a safe night or morning wherever you're at in the world, and we'll be back. Thanks for supporting justice for the family of Eric, and I will hope to see you back again here soon. Take care. Goodbye.